far as inquiries go. So he's been kind of telling me that when I pull the FPN, it says he's got 2 inquiries in the last 12 months. But he's telling me that on the other 2 reports, he's got 11. So when we're come across someone like that, I mean, I know we could put him through and get the inquiry removal. But any suggestion on how to handle a situation like that without talking about the cost of the inquiry removal? Is it okay that he only shows 2 on the FPN? Or when their advisors go out and get them the funding, are they going to be surprised by the 11 on the other 2?
I love this question. Let me make sure I'm going to state it back to you, make sure I didn't miss anything. So our FPN results weren't suggesting inquiry removal, but the client or the prospect came back and said, I've got them on the other bureaus kind of thing. And so you're saying, hey, when that happens, kind of how do we position that? And what's is that right? Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I love this conversation because these kinds of scenarios are kind of, you sign up for this. This is the stuff that kind of happens when you kind of, you build the algorithm and you say, hey, we're, doing a 3 bureau algorithm is far more time consuming, complicated, costly, and largely unnecessary. So therefore, we're going to do it with 1 bureau. So, I mean, I'm kind of doing a go back. I'm kind of not exactly your question, Carlo. And so, as most of you know, we chose Experian because that's the bureau that most lenders are pulling. It is the most commonly pulled bureau in the commercial loan space, the business finance space, and so on and so forth. So while what you're saying does happen, it is more rare, right? And I completely suggest that we trust the algorithm and we proceed. But here's a good way to talk about that. That's a great question, Mr. Prospect. That's a great question, Mrs. Jones. And let me tell you how we handle that so that that it can be done efficiently and so that any dollars you spent are spent wisely and efficiently. Since the majority of our lenders are going to, when I say majority, it's not 90%, Mr. Prospect, but it's certainly more than the other 2 bureaus. Since the majority of them pull Experian, that's the reason we kind of trust Experian primarily. But the cool thing for you, Mr. Prospect, is many, I wouldn't say all, many of our lenders that pull the other bureaus, and kind of in the back of your mind, primarily Equifax, many of our lenders that pull the other bureaus, not only does that happen less often, but they also tend to be a little bit less inquiry sensitive. So my recommendation is that we proceed and let's not spend your money on removing inquiries ahead of time. Let's get you into funding and let's let the lenders get you some money. And then after we've got a few more inquiries, then let's remove all of them across all 3 bureaus rather than possibly prematurely spending money and removing them ahead of time. Would that work? Because that's how we've handled it with other people, Mr. Jones, Mrs. Smith, blah, blah, blah. Does that work, Carlo?
Perfect. Yep. Sounds great.
Absolutely. Because all of what I said is completely correct and accurate. And if that was my best friend or my brother or my cousin that was on the other end of that, I would say the exact same thing. And there's going to be a couple lenders that deny him for too many inquiries, but that's okay because that comes with the territory. And then, like I said, after that round of financing, then we'll get those inquiries moved, clean them up, boom, move on and do another round. So great question.